দর্শক আমন্ত্রণ চ্যানেল 24 এর নিয়মিত আয়োজন মুখোমুখিতে আজ আমাদের অতিথি হিসেবে আছেন বাংলাদেশে নিযুক্ত ভারতীয় হাই কমিশনার জনাব হর্ষবর্ধন সিংলা। Excellency, welcome to Channel 24. Welcome to our special arrangement, Mukhomukhi. It is acknowledged today that Bangladesh and India have best political and economic relationship nowadays. How do you see this present bilateral relationship? We should start with this.
Well, Nayat, first of all, thank you for having me on Channel 24. It is true that I think the relationship between India and Bangladesh has never been better. When Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina visited India last year, our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji described the relationship as Shonali Adhyay, a golden era in our relationship. And I think we have achieved more in the last 10 years than we have achieved in the last 35 years before that. And in a certain sense, the amount of gains that we have made in the relationship for the people of both our countries is enormous. We have been able to resolve many of the long-standing issues between our two countries. Settlement of the land boundary was a historic milestone. This was settled, first signed in 1974, the Indira Mujib Agreement, and it was only in 2015 when Prime Minister Modi visited Bangladesh that we could implement that agreement. We settled the maritime boundary. India gave duty-free, quota-free access to Bangladesh to its market. And there are many other areas in which we have been very sensitive to your concerns, and you have been very sensitive to our concerns. So the political will to allow the relationship to reach its full potential has been evident. And the results are there on the ground to see. India is investing $8 billion in lines of credit in Bangladesh's development. We do understand that as you develop, we develop, and vice versa. This approach has paid very good dividends, and we have seen that on the ground. Trade has tripled in the last 10 years. We have seen investments of $10 billion announced during the visit of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to India, mainly in the energy and power sectors, but many other sectors as well. In the last 8 months, we have seen Bangladesh's ready-made garments exports to India increase by a whopping 66%. So in many senses, relationship has involved gain for both our people. There is a very strong people-to-people contact. And we firmly believe that the people in both our countries should have a stake in the relationship. They should feel that the relationship should endure, should be sustainable, and should be the best possible.
Bangladesh is the #1 country for the tourist arrivals to India, and High Commission of India has taken several steps in the last couple of years to simplify the visa procedures. What are the basic difficulties to overcome these problems as your experience?
Well, when I came in January 2016, one of the instructions that was given to me by my External Affairs Minister, Srimati Sushma Swaraj, was that you have to resolve the visa issue no matter what it takes, because she said this is not only inconveniencing a lot of people in Bangladesh, but also giving us a bad name. So we, from the time I came, we have been tackling this issue. I'm happy to say that we have overcome many of the, let's say, procedural issues and the logistical issues that prevented full access to the Indian visa for Bangladesh applicants. There was an internet process through which you sought an appointment, but because the number of applicants were far greater than our ability to process them, it was very slow, it was difficult to get appointments. So people who wanted a visa to India found it very difficult to get. And this was taken advantage of by people who, middlemen, touts, and so on and so forth. Today we have, I think, met the demand and supply gap. We have enough capacity to deal with the number of applicants that are there. And so you have a situation where nobody who needs an Indian visa needs to wait. He can go straight to some of our Indian visa application centers at Shamoli and other places. He doesn't need to have an appointment. He goes, he applies, and in a couple of days he gets his visa. One of the things that we've introduced when our finance minister visited Bangladesh was to bring a cashless system into the visa application process, which means that people would have paid for their service fee. We don't have a visa fee, but there is a service fee for the outsourced agency that does the work of collecting passports. Well, that's 600 takas, and that service fee can be paid through electronic means. So by the time you come, it reduces, we have estimated, reduces 45% of the time per applicant by going electronic. The other thing we have done is to revamp our Indian visa application centers, make them more modern, make them user-friendly, make sure that the staff are trained at all times to be responsive to the needs of the public, The applicant is our client. He's not someone who should be treated in a manner that is in any way hurtful or any way that is not in the most polite way. We have plans to have a much bigger visa application center where there is no waiting at all. The moment you come in, you get a slip, you sit down. Within a short while, you're called. So there are many counters. Instead of 5, 10 counters, we'll have 20, 30 counters. So the idea is that we expand the scope of services so that there is no pendency. So I think the results are there for everybody to see. We have, as you say, made Bangladesh the country which is contributing to the largest number of tourists coming to India. We have increased the number of visas we've issued from 7 lakhs in 2015 to 14 lakhs in 2017. So in 2 years, we have doubled the number of visas. We give 7,000 visas every day. So today, if people are able to go more smoothly to India, of course, the services have also improved. There are very many flights to India. The two prime ministers have inaugurated end-to-end railway services, the Maitri Express and the Bandhan Express from Khulna. The train leaves Dhaka, doesn't stop in the border, goes straight to Kolkata. There's absolutely no delay in the border. This is something which is unprecedented. No country in our part of the world has this system. The only comparable system is the Eurostar that goes from Paris to London. So we have reached, in a short while, levels of trust, confidence that match places that have been working on it from much earlier than us. So political will today is there, and that has helped our countries become much closer and helped the people-to-people contacts which we so desire.
I have to take a short break and I'll come back soon. দর্শক মুখোমুখিতে একটি বিরতি নিচ্ছি, ফিরছি খানিকক্ষণ পরেই। বিরতির পর আবার আমন্ত্রণ মুখোমুখিতে কথা বলছি বাংলাদেশে নিযুক্ত ভারতের হাই কমিশনার জনাব হর্ষবর্ধন শ্রিংলার সাথে। ওয়েলকাম এগেইন এক্সেলেন্সি। I must talk something about Rohingya issue, which is a big crisis nowadays for Bangladesh, and government of Bangladesh are seeking high-level contribution and support from the all friendly countries. How India does look at the matter, and how India is supporting us on this issue?
Well, I think there is a great deal of admiration for the way the government and people of Bangladesh have handled the issue. You have had an influx of some 7 lakh displaced persons from the Rakhine state in Myanmar come into Bangladesh in a period of a few months. It has put enormous pressure on you in terms of the logistical challenges and other challenges. It's a humanitarian crisis. But you have received them with open arms. You received them with whatever hospitality that you could provide, whatever resources that you could put forward. And certainly I believe that Bangladesh needs all the support that it can get in dealing with this crisis. It is not only your problem, it is a problem of your neighbors, it is a problem of the entire international community. And how we can all assist is a very important issue to be addressed.
There is a common thought in the many people's mind of Bangladesh that India always wanted to play a big brother role in Bangladesh. How do you see this thought? I mean, is there any chance? Is it really so? And of course, there is an upcoming election in Bangladesh. What is India looking about this election also?
Well, we, as you know, have willy-nilly been drawn into many of the aspects that are internal to Bangladesh. And we have worked very hard over the last few years to try and reduce the salience of that, let's say, perceived involvement. One of the measures, as I said, is to address the long-pending issues that have been there between our countries. Another is to ensure that, our support is for, as I said, for ensuring that people-to-people contacts and the stake between the people of the two countries is increased. So we certainly look at our relationship with Bangladesh as one that is based on mutual respect, respect for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of each other, and of course that everything we do should be for mutual benefit. And if we go by those principles, then I think the perceived notion of our being big brother, as you said, or being patronizing should not come into the picture. And I do believe that political dispensations, whatever they may be, find that there is less traction for anti-Indian approach in today's context. The important thing is how India as a neighboring country can work with Bangladesh in addressing the issues that both of us face and challenges both of us face. Majority of our populations consist of young people. What can we do to ensure that their future is a brighter future, that they have opportunities that their parents and grandparents didn't have? And this is something both our countries are working on. And some of the issues that I mentioned in developmental terms, in terms of increasing connectivity, in terms of making sure that market access is there, making sure that there is more exchange of goods, services between our countries, increases the opportunities for younger people in both our countries. And that is what is important. A good relationship with India will ensure that you will economically develop, you will become peaceful, you will become stable, you will be prosperous, and vice versa.
And about the upcoming election, which is very recently, what is India's thinking about the election?
Well, elections is an internal issue to Bangladesh. As a democracy, we wish you the very best in the conduct of elections. And as far as we are concerned, we have in the past been in touch with the Election Commission to offer technical support of any nature, any kind that we can offer. We continue to offer that, and we wish the people of Bangladesh the very best in going through another very important exercise in democracy.
I have a last question. Before that, I'll take a short break. দর্শক মুখোমুখিতে আরেকটি বিরতি নিচ্ছি, ফিরছে এক্ষুনি। বিরতির পর আবারও আমন্ত্রণ মুখোমুখিতে। কথা বলছি বাংলাদেশে নিযুক্ত ভারতীয় হাই কমিশনার জনাব হর্ষবর্ধন শ্রিংলার সাথে। ওয়েলকাম এগেইন ফর দি থার্ড টাইম। দ্য লাস্ট কোয়েশ্চন টু ইউ, পিপল টু পিপল contacts are in a very important aspect actually of India-Bangladesh relationship. 100 member of youth delegation, ICCL scholarships, these two are very significant initiatives. I want to ask you that, are there more plans like this?
Well, certainly. I mean, the first important step towards people-to-people contacts I've already spoken about, that instead of 7 lakh visas, we are giving 14 lakh visas. Last year, 30 lakh people crossed over to India from one point alone, that's Petrapol, Venapol. Indians are coming to Bangladesh, Bangladeshis are going to India in larger numbers. That is the most important people-to-people contact, because that fosters a greater understanding of each other. We are not strangers, we are only neighbors. As Prime Minister Modi said, "Pehle to hum paas the, ab hum saath bhi hain." So we are pass and saath also, and that is very important. The second issue, as you say, is that the younger people, how can we mobilize them? Youth delegations is a good way. We take every year a delegation of 100 of the most dynamic, most potential younger people of your society, the future leaders of Bangladesh, to India. And at the same time, we, as you mentioned the word training also, we are very much involved in capacity building. We train close to 5,000 people every year. We have trained 1,500 civil servants from Bangladesh. We are training 1,500 judicial officers. We offer to train people in many other areas, police, fire service, you name the area, it is there. We give ICCR scholarships to people who study engineering, study a number of disciplines, including dance, culture, music. These are very important areas. So that capacity building effort is important. We are also working with many institutions in Bangladesh for skills development, because you have a young population. We are setting up a skills development center in Khulna, and with IDEB, the Institute of Diploma Engineers of Bangladesh. This skills development center will train a lot of people in vocational efforts, how they can be trained to immediately get better jobs, to have skills that can help contribute to your economy and your society. But most important are the cultural links. Our links don't come from today, they come from millennia ago. Our links are civilizational. Our links are based in river valleys. If you trace the Gangetic Valley, if you trace the Brahmaputra Valley, the Padma and the Meghna and the Jamuna, these are valleys where civilizations have started. These are the first civilizations in the world, and that is the civilization that we share. So our links, as I said, are far, far deeper. You see the level of the culture here, the vibrancy of the Bangladesh culture. It is the finest and the most refined level of culture that you can see anywhere in the world. And that is something that we share with you, is again, as I said, is based on river valleys, is based on development of cultures that come not from today, but not from centuries ago, but from millennia. And that is where the people-to-people links lie. And today, if we can foster those cultural exchanges, make it easier for artists, painters, musicians, dancers to visit each other's countries. We also provide a very large number of scholarships for people who go in these areas because we believe that this is an area that represents the base of our relationship, and this should be encouraged. So the Indira Gandhi Cultural Center of the High Commission of India conducted as many as 65 programs last year. Most of them were to support Bangladesh artists. So people-to-people contacts are at different levels, but culture is at the root of it.
Thank you so much, Excellency, and thank you so much for giving us your valuable time. দর্শক মুখোমুখির আয়োজন আজকে এই পর্যন্তই ছিল। কথা বলছিলাম বাংলাদেশে নিযুক্ত ভারতের হাই কমিশনার জনাব হর্ষবর্ধন সিংলার সাথে। বাংলাদেশ ভারতের এই সম্প্রীতি নিশ্চয়ই আর অনেকদিন বজায় থাকবে। ধন্যবাদ সবাইকে।